Have it up on the Twitters. We're live.
We are live. Yes, look at that new look. Approaching the green. New fun design, I guess. Like a little bit of a look there for the third major of the year. I don't think I've gotten a winner at a major yet. I've got Kokrak, and that's about it this season. But should be a lot to bet on this year or this week. Every week we have that, but for a major, you should have plenty of derivatives, plenty of outrights, top 10s, 20s, everything is available for something like this. So, Pam and I are going to take you to Torrey Pines today, the South Course. Been here already this year. A little bit of the South Course, South and North
Mhm.
Course for farmers, but yeah, this is a set up a little differently. They make this a little tougher.
Yes. This is actually a course that I have played at. I'm not at all going to say that it compares to what we're going to see this time around. I do play a little further up front than what the PGA pros do play, but it is Torrey Pines Golf Course. It is in La Jolla, California. It is a South course. It is also a par 71 and over 7,600 yards. Though I did read this morning that there is some stipulation. There is potentially they're looking for it to play around 72 to 7,400 because of some of the adjustments that they had made just this week. I'm not too sure. That kind of threw me off for a loop. But it did host the Farmers Insurance Open earlier this year in January. That was a much tougher conditions, I believe, at least in really tough conditions because it was windy, it was cold, but we're not going to have that this time around because, of course, we are in the month of June. But it does mean that the course is now, the greens are going to play fast and they're going to play firm. And it is Poana greens, so I am looking for players who do well on Poana green surfaces. And there aren't too many.
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a specialty for some of these guys. There's some bad putters in the field. Like I've run into a lot of that. I'm teeing off here on one. There's some decent easy fours here, but this is gonna play challenging. There's a couple of fives that are 600 yards. They've added a couple of bunkers. They've done a few like spot. What do you call it? Where your shot lands, just like a landing area. You know where your drive
Landing
lands.
area.
Yeah, where your drive lands, and not only that, but your kind of your spot when you're hitting your second shot on some of these fives. They've added a couple of problem
Mm-hmm.
bunkers where it's like, hey, some of these guys who have a longer second shot have to make a decision. Am I going for this? Am I going to worry about that bunker? What am I going to
Mm-hmm.
do? So they add some things that are
Exactly.
going to add a degree of difficulty. Obviously, it's not going to be too hard on me because I'm playing super easy Andy mode, but I did birdie
Easy
already.
mode.
I'm already birdied. Yeah, you can see down here DeChambeau won last time out. They did play this here years ago. If anyone remember,
2008.
yeah, kind of a memorable one. I don't know if you remember this. Tiger,
Tiger Woods.
Tiger in a little bit of a playoff. I won't play that many holes today, but yeah, that was obviously awesome, very memorable. Obviously, he's not here, but hopefully, another memorable U.S. Open this year. Um, Course record does belong to Tiger. That's when it was called the Buick. Back in, a lot of these changed sponsors, and actually the new South Course
Mm-hmm.
after the rebuild. Greg Chalmers shot a 63 after the rebuild. They kind of call it two different course records. So, but obviously Tiger did shoot a very good round here in 1999. That's a long time ago. I will feel bad beating his record because it's Tiger, but at the same time, it's just a video game. I don't think he'll notice. So, which leads us
Remember
to
when we thought the world was ending in 2000?
somebody. Oh my God! Just yeah,
That could have been the year.
full segue to yeah. After I was telling Pam we went to the driving range on Sunday. Me and my son went and got breakfast after that at a cafe, and a guy behind me was talking to his buddy about some COVID theories he had, and Y2K came up, and I was just like, I wanna
Y2K.
move booths now. This isn't good. I don't want to hear Y2K conspiracy theories from behind me. But yeah, Y2K that didn't turn out too bad. Our outrights turned out awful last week. Who would have,
Oh, yeah.
I liked Higo in a matchup. I didn't even think, I think I said, like, he's not going to win. So that made me feel
Mm-hmm.
bad. But this week, way better field, a lot more big names. What do you think?
I'm going to go with Patrick Reed. He is plus 2,800 to win this tournament. And I did mention that I am looking at players who do well on Poana greens. That is almost the definition of Patrick Reed. He has back-to-back wins on Buena Greens. He took first at the WGC Mexico Championship in 2020, and then he took first at this year's, just in January, the Farmers Insurance Open. Yes, those conditions are going to be different this time around compared to then, and the course is going to be tougher, and the rough is going to be thicker, and the greens are going to be more firm. But if anybody can handle such adversity on a golf course, then there is nobody better than Patrick Reed, who is fantastic around the greens. He is one of the best putters on the tour, and if he can just keep it in play and not get out of line off the tee with his iron shots, then I definitely believe that a top 10, a top 5, and a potential outright win is in the cards for him.
Yeah, I actually have a little play on him as well. He's the guy I just have fallen. I think he was my first big outright I ever hit. Something about your first one.
Oh.
Like I hit him at the Masters a few years back, and like obviously there's people that don't like him, but I again I don't give a.
Mm-hmm.
I'll bet on horrible people. I've bet on just horrible people over the years, and so I don't care if he is a jerk. I do have a little action on him. I ended up with some Rory. I don't know. I was back and forth on this. I'm not in love with this play, but his off the tee stuff was kind of hurting him in months past, where he developed kind of a miss off the tee. And it's like, yeah, he's crushing the ball, but he's crushing it into the rough or into the water, and some bad things are happening off the tee. It kind of skews his overall stats as well. But I mean, he crushed at Wells Fargo. Obviously, you've seen how well he did there. And putting,
Mm-hmm.
actually, it was putting that kind of held him back at the PGA. And then he did, again, it gets lost, but he did have a nice showing at the Memorial. So I think he may have fixed something in his drive, and if he can put together a couple rounds like he had at Wells Fargo, I mean, for sure he's going to be in the mix here. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm absolutely not scared to take Rory. And not only that, but you have so many big names here that you're getting him at 2100. Like
Right.
it's a really nice number for a really good name. So Rory at 2100, I'm taking. He was a guy who was fading a little earlier in the year, but I'm very quick to turn heel on this sort of stuff if I need to when somebody fixes their game. Obviously, we saw what your guy Texas's Jordan Spieth, like we bet against him all last year. He was a problem. And all of a sudden he just turned, and you got to be ready
Turn
to
it around.
bet on a guy. So yeah, Rory at 21 is
Mm-hmm.
my shorter pick. Long shots. I think the only way we've ever hit anything is with our long shots. So maybe we should be putting more
Or
on
get
these.
close.
Yeah.
I'm going to be going with my boy Will Zalatoris, and I know that there are a bajillion stats out there that say the player who wins a major championship is somebody who has previously won a major, or they have finished. I mean, that's Will Zalatoris. I think a win is coming. It would be absolutely remarkable if it was a major, but if you look at how he does on Poana Greens, I mean, he does really well. He took seventh at last in the Farmers in January. He took 15th at the Genesis. At this in 2021, what top 20 has he not hit? What top 10 is he not hit? And he's played 3 tournaments since he's come on tour since September, and it all started with taking sixth at last year's U.S. Open, and then he followed that up with a second place finish at the Masters, and then he took eighth at the PGA Championship. He is just one of the best ball strikers that's on tour. If he can just fix his putting, but Poana happens to be one of his better surfaces. I've read interview after interview that says, where he says that he loves these types of greens and he feels like he just excels on it. So hey, who am I to argue? Will Zalatoris, give me a first win and shock the world by it being a major.
I'm not even sure we'd be so shocked if it happened last year with Morikawa. Like these young guys are just
Yeah.
flying up and coming up. And he's shown it. He had nerves of steel playing, a few months, or I don't know, it's been a while
And
now, but that was, some great performances by him already as a youngster. I went with somebody a little older, actually a bit older, and Webb Simpson. Webb Simpson
okay.
is 50 to 1. And that bothered me a little. I'm like, this number's just a little long. Well,
The disrespect.
it just does feel a little long for a guy that has his pedigree and can play as well as he can. He had a neck injury. Like he pulled out of Wells Fargo with that neck injury. I think that's probably the reason why we're seeing some of this, disrespect or a lower number on him, or maybe just the market not liking him at all. But that was like 5 weeks ago. He's a former major champ with a strong iron game, and he's putting well of late. Like just
Mm-hmm.
I can't speak to him being some POA expert, but his putting overall has been good. And with an
Right.
iron, with iron games like this, an irons game like this, and the pedigree has like 50 to 1 feels like a lot. I'll probably have a top 20 on him as well. But yeah, Webb Simpson 50 to 1 felt like a ton for a name like this. And yes, it's sometimes you get caught in that with a field like this. But again, I'm absolutely taking this and top 20, probably some top 10 as well.
You were talking about how Reed was one of the players that you first went an outright with.
Yeah.
Well, that Webb Simpson is that player for me. So I would not be upset at all if that ended up being the case for this weekend.
Yeah, that was a nervy Sunday as Reed was punching him out of the woods once in a while there at Augusta. I have fond memories of that, but yeah, head to heads. I think we did okay on these. I had Garrick Higo in a head to head last week. I think that feels awful when you end up betting the winner in the wrong way. Look at that.
In
Apparently
the wrong way.
I didn't charge my batteries enough here. But yeah, what'd you have for a top of the board head to head?
I'm going against your outright
I
player,
saw
and I'm going
this.
with Rom. Rom, a big minus 180 favorite over Rory McIlroy. I wouldn't mind instead to lower the juice doing minus 1.5 strokes. I think Rory has just been. You're talking about how he's coming back into form. I'm seeing it as he's too much of a firecracker for me, and he's very off and on for his standards. And if you look at the last two tournaments, the last two majors that he has played at, he missed the cut at the Masters, and then he took 49th at the PGA Championship. Rahm, however, is the complete opposite of that. Nobody has been as consistent for top 20s, as consistent for top 10s than John Rahm, and he excels on Poena Greens. He excels at Torrey Pines. He has a first place, a fifth place, a second place, a seventh place. So I definitely see Rahm almost being a lock for a top 10, and I don't have the same confidence for Rory.
Yeah, and that is, obviously head to heads and outrights, kind of different markets. Like there are guys where it's like I'm betting this guy outright, but it wouldn't surprise me if he missed the cut. Obviously, I'm not saying Rory will miss the cut, but Rahm
Right.
is kind of just the model of consistency right now. That's why you're getting these prices. So yeah, a Rahm at
Mm-hmm.
maybe minus 1.5 to cut the juice down a little. I can see that for sure, especially with Rory's possibility of his driver flaring up again. If that happens, my outright's dead, and I'm putting everything on Webb. I went with and I did go with Rory in my outright, but this is again more of a can't lay fade, I guess. Just and not even a full can't lay fade. I respect what he's done. Obviously some very good results lately, but he's a bit streaky just overall in results. He went
Right.
he went 6 straight top 20s, followed by 4 straight miscuts, and then a 23rd at the PGA, and then obviously what happened at Memorial. And I am a little higher on Roars here, but and I'm not fully on the. I know some people do this. You fade a guy off a win, say, well, it's hard for him to bounce back. Especially some of the young guys, maybe they party a little too hardy, but Cantlay is a guy who can lose the plot in multiple facets of his game. So I'll gladly take Rory at a smaller price here, fading. Cantlay's just not a guy I ever like. Like I was almost mad that he won, especially since the circumstances. And it is what it is. So, but yeah, Rory over Cantlay minus 126 for me. And yeah, a big menu this week. So what'd you have for down the green or down the board?
I'm going to stick with Zalatoris because when I saw this line, I was absolutely shocked. And seeing this line now, a day later, I'm still now a little worried because I'm going to be taking Will Zalatoris in a head to head plus 110 underdog to Scotty Scheffler. I see this as a misprice. He should actually be the favorite. I don't understand why Scheffler is getting the favorite here. But if you look at how he does, Scotty Scheffler, how he does on Poena Greens, he doesn't do well. He has a few miscuts under his belt. The best finish that he has is 20th at the Genesis this year. And then at Flip Farmers, he has missed in 2020 and 2021, he's missed the cut twice in back-to-back years. And now you have Zalatoris, who is top 10s in major tournaments, and then top 20s, top 10s consistently within the last 7 months. I just feel like this is a huge misprice, and hopefully I'm not wrong. Hopefully the books don't know something that I don't.
Yeah, I've Scotty Scheffler has been a bit of I don't know. The people I talk golf with, there's like no agreement on him. Either people are betting him to win or miss the cut. Like it's full disagreement on here, and I do believe in Willie Z. So, especially at plus money here, I ended up with Mark Leishman over Tommy
Ooh.
Fleetwood. And yeah, honestly, like the numbers for these guys that I'm using, they're fairly similar. This is, with the over round, this matchup is minus 114 on both sides. So essentially, it's, pick them with a little extra juice. But uh, Leishman's honestly might even be a little worse in general if you use the right sample size. But I do like the
Mm-hmm.
way he can play on a course like this. And, you know, he has played well here. Like he's played well, and it's hard to completely use the Farmers or whatever it's been called in years past too as a bellwether. But I mean, it is the same course, and for a bunch of the tournament, it is that South course. So you see a guy who's played well here for years. In fact, he did win this tournament 2 years ago at the Farmers. So I mean, you get a guy who's played well, who's won this tournament, and it's a bit of a step up, but honestly, I just like to fade Tommy Fleetwood at this point. It's like, boy, this putt's gonna move a lot. I might have to. Oh, look at that! I judged it just perfect. I was never worried about that. So, yeah, Leishman. I know there's a lot of people who are
Oh,
gonna look at some South Africans and Australians to play well here. So, Leishman, I'll probably have in a couple matchups. Where does that leave me? What do we do after this one? I
miscut.
forget if it's
The
miss cut or
miscut.
nationality. Oh, miss cut. This is our thing.
Miscut.
I had Poston the other week and he missed it. I don't remember who we had last week. We'll just assume it all worked out.
I don't remember
I'm
either.
kind of wiping Congaree off the like. I'm glad they're
It
not
was a
playing there
tournament that we
ever
were
again.
forced to do.
Yeah, I'm glad they're never playing there again. So it looks like you. Oh, look at that! I forgot. I didn't even think of that when I mentioned it. Scotty Scheffler minus plus 210.
You said there are two types of people who are playing how they are playing Scotty Scheffler. They're either betting him to win or they're betting him to miss the cut. I am one of those people who is betting him to miss the cut for all the reasons that I just outlined. He has back-to-back miscuts at the Farmers. Those are supposed to be easier conditions than what we're going to see now. And he lost strokes off the tee. He lost strokes on his approach. He was terrible around the green, just bleeding red in both of those tournaments. Could he potentially be a better player now? Are these conditions going to favor him? I don't think so. So give me plus odds. What is he? Plus 210 for him to
Plus
miss the
210.
cut.
And that's what I do like these full fields because we played. There was 2 weekends in a row where we had like 120-man fields, and we were basically forced to play miss the cut, and there was no make numbers that we could play because everything was so jacked up with the smaller field. So it was nice to actually have a full menu of these. I ended up going with Sergio to miss plus 146. His off the tee is great, but his putting has been pretty abysmal lately. He missed 4 straight cuts before getting through to the weekend at the Chuck Schwab. And, they've added some problems to some of these landing areas for some of the longer drivers out there who can't keep things accurate. So if he's going to need to be saving power with his flat stick, I really don't like his chances to see Saturday. If it's going to end up with some of these longer putts because he's had some problems off the tee and there's some problems with some of the accuracy, you end up with a long putt, you're going to end up in trouble. I don't see really low scores this weekend. I think it is going to play pretty
Mm-hmm.
tough, even if it's shorter, but
Right.
still, if he's going to start scooting down the leaderboard because of his putting, I will absolutely pay him to miss this weekend.
The
And
cut is
again, a
going to
nice
be
plus number.
different. The cut is going to be different this week compared to other tournaments. It is the top 50, it is the top 60 NTIs will make the cut at the US Open instead of the typical 65 that we see.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, the cut rule, man, remember a couple years ago they were doing the secondary cut too? That was really screwing with me with matchups. I didn't like any of that. But yeah, do check that too because it is 60, like Pam said. So. Nationalities. We had a lot. I didn't even want to look at the American one. It's just like, oh, there's like 80 people. So basically, why would you bet this? Just bet them to win outright. But you found a much smaller market. I mean, how many people were even in this market?
4. So I'm
4?
taking Abraham Amser. He is the favorite at minus 150 over Carlos Ortiz, Alvaro Ortiz, who is his brother, and then Mario Carmona. who I have no idea who he is. I couldn't find stats on him. He's not really playing on the European tour. I think he's one of the amateurs that are coming off the Corn Ferry, or he got the exemption. One of the invites. I'm not sure, but I do know that Abraham Answer. I like where his game is. He's definitely one of the best ball strikers on tour. And Poana Green's putting on these surfaces, they are really difficult. So I think it evens out the playing field a little bit. So his putting is the worst part of his game. So if everybody is bad at putting at this tournament, then I think that gives him a shot to kind of sneak into a top 20 here.
Yeah, I like him quite a bit. I bet him in some matchups. He's a guy I've always liked. It sucks he's just such a little guy and he can't, he's not a big driver of the ball. Lots of somebody in the chat here says, and with the cut too, yeah, there are some of these non-tour pros that will miss the cut. God bless those guys. He ended up a couple tournaments back. I think it was Kiowa. I bet like somebody to have a round over 87 or something like that, like the highest scoring
Mm-hmm.
round, and one of those non-tour
Right.
pros obliged by shooting like a 90
Mm-hmm.
for me. So I might have to go look at that
Um,
market again if there's a bunch of those non-tour pros. I went with Victor Hovland. Somebody asked for it earlier. I think Straight Vibin or somebody wanted me to say something nice about Victor Hovland. Well, here it is. I'm betting him top non top continental euro. That's what it is. So this market is John Rahm minus 110. John Rahm is taking up like 52% of this market. Sergio is behind, Sergio's 950, and then you got Wiesberger, Molinari, Stenson, the Belgian, the Frenchman, and the German, Keimer, Perez, Detry, in reverse order, respectively there. A lot of those guys are fades for me, especially like Keimer. Victor Perez hasn't been playing all that well of lately. And really, like I've already said, I'm fading Sergio. I'm asking him to miss the cut. I'm
mm-hmm.
willing to fade Rom
Yep.
in a way to, I'm betting other outrights. And Wiesberger is a guy I've bet against in an outright as well. So I'm happy to take Hovland at plus 310 as second favorite here. So Drew is asking, is this playing as a 71 or a 72? It is a 71. They're doing the
71.
the 3 5s. So the two of these fives are like 600 plus yards. They are playing very long, so I worry about that for
They're
the
cutting a par
latitude.
5 to a par 4.
Yeah. So Victor Hovland at about 3-1. Basic. Honestly, if you're gonna bet this, you might want to just put a tickle on him to win the tournament too, because if he beats John Rahm, odds are he had a really
He's
really nice.
probably in the top 5.
He's probably doing very well too. So maybe play some top 5-10 on this as well. Um, what did you again? We I think we nailed hole in one last week because
Yes.
John
For the
Rahm
first time in a while.
screwed us. Oh, for my round, I think it's playing as a 71. Yeah, I compared it. Drew was asking for my round if it's a 71. I'll have to double check that after the round. I think it is, although again we'll have to double check. Hole in one though, yeah, Rahm got the hole in one and then got COVID, so and I was seriously looking at it like, do you think they'll like void the round? And they certainly did not. There was none at
They did not.
Congaree though, which that doesn't help us a lot with course history going forward since they'll never play that again. But I mean, did you kind of take a look at you took a look at these par threes here?
Yes. So they are, I mean, one of them is like a 170-ish, but I'm going to go with no still because it is plus money, but there have only been 8 aces at Torrey Pines, and there was none at the 2008 US Open. So if somebody like Tiger Woods couldn't get one, then I'm going to put some hope in these players that they're not able to get one this weekend either. And it's Poana Greens, it's coastal, it's very difficult to get hole-in-ones along the coastline, so give us the plus money option.
Yeah, I think it was Richie Wierenski has like 2 here. But again, it was at the
Right.
Farmers. It was set up differently. Two of them are like 225 plus. Another one's over 200. There's one, I think it's number 8, is like 170. But yeah, you can see on their game here, I just took a 3-wood to this par 3. Like, and if you're hitting a 3-wood and they put a pin location right in front of the bunker like that, you don't have a shot. I'm
Good luck.
lucky. I'm lucky. I took a errant bounce to end up with a 10-footer on a huge slope, which I'm gonna miss anyway. But oh god, that really really broke. But yeah, I'm also with the no here. Like just those 2 long threes, and yeah, there weren't any. Like I found the same thing at the last time they held the tough tournament here rather than the Farmers. So I'm on a full no. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't make any, so that's usually a good sign. I didn't even come close to getting one near on the par threes. I might have played the par threes just even par. I don't think I even had a birdie putt that was close. So no on
And you're
that.
at easy mode.
Yeah, it's not going to be playing at easy mode. It'll be interesting to see what the weather's like. I haven't seen much of a problem for the weather. It's that time of year in Cali. It'll
No,
be it'll be nice. So
it's nice.
all right, the wild card, the pancake, the whatever. Which honestly, a couple of these have hit. You had Spieth first round leader. I had like that Cam
Hmm.
Smith first round Australian leader. These aren't all as
Hmm.
bad. Well, I like this
This
one.
isn't actually much of a pancake bet though because it's smaller odds, but it is plus 100 for the cut line to be over 147 and a half. And I like this reason. I like this bet because I am expecting carnage at this tournament. I am saying that yes, it's going to be 6 over par minimum for what we're going to see for the cut line. The 2008 cut line was 150. That's 8 over par. And now you're giving me 2 strokes better. I'm going to still take it. The course is playing difficult. The fairways are really tough to hit on. The rough, I don't know if you saw on social media, but Xander
Oh
was one of the
God.
videos that I saw. The thick, the rough is so thick, and I mean it is deep and it is thick, and it's good luck if you end up in there. You may get lucky with a good lie, but more than likely you're not going to. But since the 2008 US Open, there have been only 4 events out of the 12 where the cut line was 6 or worse. However, I do believe that Torrey Pines does offer up a far better, bigger challenge than some of the other courses that they have played. So give me the over. I want carnage. I want players to do poorly. As we mentioned earlier with the cut line, that there's going to be all of these amateurs that are there. One of them is surely to have just a poor round. So yes, I'll go ahead and take my shot at plus money with having some bad play.
Yeah, there's certain not only the non-tour pros, the amateurs, all the ways you can qualify for this. There's gonna be some not I don't want to say bad, they're better than us, but like there's gonna be some rough players here. There's gonna be a bunch of guys that shoot poorly, so we should end up with a decent cut line. Looks good. I'm gonna actually play this too, especially if it's plus 100 at 147 and a half. So I'll probably get on that. I ended up with Bobby McIntyre, top lefty. I'd have to go. I don't think
Okay.
I did not grab the screenshot, but I'm not super keen on Bubba. I'm not real keen on Phil to repeat. I don't think this is a good course for Phil right now, and I'm honestly Phil might just be in don't give a fuck mode really after what he did. Like he looked like it. He's driving around with his trophy and the golf cart stuff, which I love Phil, but yeah, Bobby Mack is a guy I kind of faded a little when he first got over here. But now I am looking to back him. I like him a little here, and plus 550 is a decent number for. I think there was only 5 lefties in the field here as I drained an eagle putt to end it. That felt pretty good. Shot a 60. That's not bad. I think that is a
As
course
long as it's
record.
not a hole in one.
Yeah, not a hole in one, just a nice eagle. But yeah, Bobby Mack, top lefty, plus 550. He's a guy. I think he's probably gotten a little more comfortable playing over here now. He was great over across the pond. You come here. I think maybe his first one was what was the one that was in Mexico? They moved to Florida, like Concession. Maybe that was his first tournament. Like a couple of his first starts over here weren't easy places to play. So, not that this is going to be
Hmm.
easy as well, but I think he's gotten a little more comfortable. And yeah, Bobby Mack here. I'm going to have him in a couple different props as well. So,
I actually
oh
really like both of our cards this week. So if one of us does poorly, I'm just gonna be miserable in the corner because I really like this week.
Big Shot Bob. They're saying, yeah, Big Shot Bob. This is a guy. He has a bright career ahead of him. I like some of these Euro guys that are coming over. So, all right, yeah. The course record was Greg Chalmers. Sorry, Greg Chalmers. I don't even know who you are, but you do not have the course record anymore. Yeah, just quick review. We went with Patty Reed, Rory for our outrights. Long shots were Willie Z and Webb Simpson. Rom over Rory for Pam. Rory over Cantlay for me. Zalatoris over Scheffler, double Scheffler fade for you. Leishman over Fleetwood. You had Scheffler missing. I had Sergio missing, both at nice plus numbers. Mexican, top Mexican answer, Abram answer. That was like a 3 or 4 person field, but yeah, definitely the class of that for sure. I have Hovland, top Continental Euro, needing to leapfrog Rom for that title, and we both said no to the hole in one, so we can hope and pray for that all weekend. That's like a first half under. Like those are just never out of the woods. Cut line. This is one. This is might be my favorite bet that you've made ever. Like after, especially after you explained it, I'm definitely playing this one for sure. And then Robert McIntyre, top lefty, plus 550 for me, smaller bet. So under cash, as Drew says, yeah, under was set at 63.5 for me today by somebody in the chat, and definitely cash that. So for me and Pam and sponsor WinBet, we will see you next week. Hopefully, all our bets win, and all, which I don't know if that's possible since we bet 4 outrights. Hopefully a good portion of our bets win, and all of your bets win, and we'll catch you next week. Thanks, guys.
Good luck with your bets.